All right, Sean Zattel, FightHype.com here with the youngest super middleweight champion of all time, now a two-time super middleweight champion. If you don't love David Benavidez, you don't love boxing, Mr. David Benavidez. What's up, David?
Doing good, man. Looking forward to Saturday night. Looking forward to having a great, performance, and then, getting some bigger names after this. I'm not looking past Roman Angulo or nothing, but I think it's time after this to get a unifier, get a big fight going on.
Yeah, man. Just to kind of be blunt about it, not a lot of fighters get this label from other fighters in the gym, people in the boxing gyms, in the business. But you're a bad motherfucker, aren't you?
Yeah, I feel like it. That's what definitely the thing I've been trying to work on more. I'm a cool, calm, collective guy outside, but when I get in the ring, bro, I'm a tough dude, and I'm definitely coming to hurt people, and I'm pretty sure that's what people have realized now, that I ain't playing no games with nobody. I'm coming to hurt people every time.
Because you know what I mean. They even literally made a belt after it in the UFC. So it's like, there's great fighters, but there's only a few sometimes that get that label. And Gervonta Davis is another one. Seeing him spar over the last couple days. What do you think of his fight with Santa Cruz, real quick?
It's gonna be a great fight, man. Santa Cruz is in for a tough night, but honestly, if Gervonta Davis doesn't come right, he's gonna be in for a tough night too. I've been watching Gervonta Davis's his sparring session. Now, he looks like he's putting in some vicious work and working with Mayweather too. But Leo Santa Cruz is a top dog. He's been there for years and years and years, man. So you can never doubt Santa Cruz out. Santa Cruz has a extremely high punch output. He doesn't get tired. Gervonta Davis has great knockout power. So it's just like I guess it's gonna be who has the most heart that night, basically. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a great fight, man.
When you punch like that, the way that you do, the way Davis does, the way a Canelo does, is it hard to keep that output up?
It definitely, because I think when you're just doing outputs and just trying to get those numbers up, you're not as effective. I think in my opinion, my goal is always throw a couple and then throw a big one to hurt people, because I want to hurt somebody at the end of the day. I'm not throwing just to throw. I want somebody to hurt at the end of the day. But there's some other people that they just overwhelm people with punches. You know what I mean? So that's how there's two different styles. Not everybody's gonna be a big puncher like that. So everybody, every fighter's different. Everybody has a different fighting style.
Right. So you kind of do like the Lomachenko thing, right? Like tap a couple tapped ones and then bomb hard, right?
Yeah, basically. Or you do like a couple throwaway shots to get a left hook to the body, get an uppercut. It's different for everybody. You know what I mean? But like I said, that's what I said. My main goal is to hurt somebody at the end of the day. I wouldn't feel right if the person I fought hasn't been hurt at least one time in the fight. My main objective is to hurt somebody.
Right. This guy, Angulo, Alexis Angulo, he's an aggressive fighter, a strong fighter. Do you want to show your defense in this fight?
Definitely defense is always a big part of every fight, since the gloves are small, you know what I mean? In the professional fight, you always got to protect yourself. So I definitely I gotta be smart about this guy. I don't want to trade it up all night, but when I do decide to trade with him, I got to be very effective, and I got to close. I got to have tight defense, good head movement. But like I said, my main objective too is definitely to hurt this guy. I feel like he hasn't been tested really. He has a lot of experience. He's fought two guys, but other than that, he hasn't really fought anybody else. He's never really fought a guy with a jab like mine, or speed like mine, or with body shots like how I do. You know what I mean? So everybody keeps telling me, he has heavy hands. He has heavy hands. Yeah, but I have heavy hands too. You know what I mean? So they definitely got to think. I have more weapons in my arsenal than him. So they got to be very careful about what they do too. So I'm extremely ready. I'm ready to defend my title with everything I have.
You're kind of like these guys like Morales and Marquez, who are these great pound for pound fighters, and they have good defenses, but they seem to get hit every fight because, like you said, you're like, first of all, I'm trying to hurt this guy. It's not. Do you have to? Is that something you have to avoid? That kind of thing. Like,
I feel like sometimes the type of defense we have, sometimes it looks like we're getting hit, but we're really not getting hit. You know what I mean? Every time I fight, I never come out with black eyes. I never come out with cuts. I'm never really messed up from my face. It's because you're getting hit in the defense, but it's, this helps a lot, compared to just taking a freaking punch straight up. It's that little freaking, that's why the guard has to be so tight, because this does so much to protect you. You know what I mean? Not everybody has amazing freaking head movement like Floyd Mayweather, the reflexes like Mayweather. So we got to work with what we have, you know what I mean? So my defense, I really don't get hit as much as people think I get hit, you know what I mean? But definitely, defense is one of the main things. It's just different types of defenses and different types of fighters. My thing is I really have to get close to dig those hooks to the body, and you know what I mean? That's probably one of the most deadly shot in all of boxing, the whole game of boxing, those body shots. And it's hard to get those shots in, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to give up a little bit to get a one good shot in.
That's why I love watching the fight. So, yeah, I think for sure. But
and then honestly, the people enjoy it too. You know what I mean? If you get hit, people like to see boxers get hit, you know what I mean? To see how they react to it. It's at the end of the day, you're a modern day gladiator. So you got to go in there and you got to show what you're made of.
That's why I brought up Morales and Marquez. It's like you're more, like a Pacquiao, like a Cotto, a Duran, a guy that, and fighters, other fighters like Ali and Floyd had great fights too. But these were guys that seemingly every single time you were going to get your money's worth. You feel like that's what you're becoming?
That's definitely my goal. That's definitely my goal, to do that. I want to be that type of fighter that, you have to buy his fight. If pay-per-view comes up, you have to buy the pay-per-view. If it's Showtime, you have to tune in to Showtime. Fox, you have to tune in. I want to be that type of fighter that it's a have-to-watch fighter, because it doesn't matter who it is. It's going to be an entertaining fight. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like how I base my whole style. And I feel like, the people are enjoying the stuff I'm putting out. You know what I mean? So I feel like if the fans and audience are happy, I'm not taking too much punishment, not getting hit too much, and let's continue with the same thing we've been doing.
But you did mention Floyd. He was talking. Well, but we'll start with defensively. I see you shoulder roll sometimes. You have for years. Was that because of Floyd Mayweather in particular?
Sometimes I'm a student of boxing. At the end of the day, I've loved watching Prince Nassim Hamed, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr., James Toney. All these guys do completely different stuff, you know what I mean? But I feel like the shoulder roll, it's there for a reason. It was created for a reason, because it's very effective when you learn how to use it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A great example is James Toney. He didn't really move too much. He stayed in the pocket, but he deflected a lot of shots. You know what I mean? So you just have to move at the right time and put the hand up at the right time. But it's also, too, could be very dangerous. So I pick and choose when I want to use it. Sometimes I'll go back to the high guard defense, because that's the defense that I feel more comfortable in. I block more stuff like that. I really still feel I haven't really perfected the shoulder roll defense. So we're not really taking too much chances in the ring with that, because like how you see with Adrian Broner. Sometimes the guy throws overhand right, and you want to roll instead of going under, and you'll get caught in the temple, or you'll get caught in the top of the head. You know what I mean? So I definitely love that style of defense, but I still feel like I need a little bit more practicing to do it a little bit more in the ring.
And then another thing Floyd was talking about, getting to see him on the heavy bag last night. He was talking about the jab. He's like, fighters don't jab. Fighters don't jab anymore. They just do this. Like, they just range. Yeah. What you do jab? What do you think about that?
Well, the jab is definitely the key. Every time I go into a fight, for the first couple rounds, my main objective is find the jab. I tell myself, find the jab, and everything else is going to fall behind it. Because you hit a guy jab a couple times in a fight, they're like, oh, fuck, I got to do something to block this jab. Feints, jabs, and then after you landed the jab so much that you could land it comfortably, you could feint, throw a hook, you know what I mean? You could throw a jab and throw a right hook behind it, you know what I mean? That's why the jab is it's such a great weapon that people don't utilize it, because they're not really too comfortable with it. And now the type of jab that I'm throwing, that I've learned to throw, is more of a power jab. So it feels like a right hand, but I've thrown the jab so many times that I know I have the speed and I have the power to catch you with it. You know what I mean? I think that's why I cut Anthony Durrell, you know, with the jab, because I turned it at the perfect time, and I think that slid open. You know what I mean? So it's just the jab is definitely one of the biggest keys in my game. You know what I mean? And I'm going to continue using the jab. And just like Floyd said, nobody throws the jab no more. They're just trying to like tap it. You know what I mean? But with tap, nobody's going to get discouraged over a tap. You know, you got to hit a dude with a couple hard jabs for them to really rethink their whole game plan. You know what I mean?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a case of overthinking it. It's like they start to think that's too fundamental, that's too basic. It'll get countered.
It's a hard punch to throw, and they don't do enough practicing of it. That's why they don't throw it. You know, me and my dad, we've worked hours and hours and hours, just rounds, just throwing jab, perfecting the jab, and we still haven't perfected it. And I'm pretty sure I've worked on my jab more than anybody has. You know, more than a lot of people has. It's a hard punch to throw it right. You know what I mean? Just to get it popping out there. It's a hard punch to throw. And not only that, you got to stay dedicated to it. You got to throw it all night. Some fighters throw it, they hit it a couple times, and then they stop throwing it. That's why it's a good tool to use, but you got to be consistent and use it all night.
But you know, just to close on the Floyd Mayweather kind of team, because you beat Ronald Gavril and you beat Jay Leon Love, two of their fighters. Leonard Ellerbe just had such high remarks to say about you the other day, being excited heading into Saturday. Why do you think that? What do you think about that? And Floyd gave you some props too after you beat Gavril, I think, right?
Yeah, you know, I don't know, probably because I've just been extremely nice to them too, you know, because I've always looked up to those guys too. I mean, that whole team, and see what they've done with Floyd, or what Floyd has done with them. You know, they're an amazing team. So, you know, I've never hold grudges with nobody, especially those people. I've always been very respectful to Leonard Ellerbe. You know, I have beaten their fighters, but I feel like they just, since they're a part of PBC, you know, Premier Boxing Champions, they just like to see the young fighter that's putting in work and, you know, doing what it has to do. You know what I mean? I mean, they're all good people. You know, Jay Leon Love, he's a good dude. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Ronald Gavril, you know, I really don't talk to him. I've never really talked to him, but, you know, he's cool, I guess. You know, it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? I beat those guys, and if there's other guys for me to fight on their team, then I'll beat them too.
And I don't want to focus on this too much because you got Angulo on your mind Saturday night. But excuse me, actually, do you think putting the heat on Caleb Plant, maybe in the ring after the fight, can help make that fight happen and make it a bigger fight?
Maybe. Maybe, bro. I really don't know. That fight needs to happen though. It doesn't put pressure on it. It just needs to happen. You know what I mean? We're definitely gonna take care of this fight, but I definitely, if I don't get him in the next fight, I want to get him in the next two fights. You know, by the beginning of next year, or the middle of next year. That's really why I want to do it. But I feel like when they do make it happen, I feel like they want to make it happen with the crowd.
Right.
You know what I mean? And because there's, you know, bro, there'll be so much people showing for that fight, and that's a fight that a lot of people would want to watch, not only live, but then that a fight that they want to watch, you know, at home too. So I think they'll sell a lot of tickets. You know what I mean? It'll be a big fight, definitely. So I mean, I don't know. It just needs to happen already.
Do you think that the contrast in your guys' personalities and the contrast in your styles, that rivalry might have the it factor?
Maybe, you know, I think every time you get two champions that hate each other, that don't really like each other, you know, that's just good for business. You know what I mean? Bad blood fights, you know, people that don't like each other, it always sells. You know what I mean? I feel like that's, especially with the way that boxing is, Premier Boxing Champions is shaping up now. We're getting some good fights, man. Like you see, Gervonta Davis is getting Santa Cruz, freaking. What's his name? Earl Spence is fighting Danny Garcia. So I mean, it's really this is becoming a real hot spot for boxing, man. There's so much good fights to be made. This is just good for business, man. So I mean, you know, and overall, our promotion company wins with this fight. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it needs to happen as soon as possible.
Yeah, it just kind of seems like the winner of that fight would really make the winner a star. Maybe even the loser too, if it's such a great fight like it could be.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I feel like everybody wins because both of us, we're not at the end of our career. You know what I mean? Whoever wins that fight, you know what I mean? It's just good for the sport. You know what I mean? It's good for everything. Everybody wins at the end of the day, even though somebody takes the loss or whatever. You know, it's a big win for boxing. You know, and nothing has to end there. You can continue.
And sometimes when a guy loses, he just builds himself back up, and then they rematch 2 years later. It doesn't always have to happen back to back, right? You know?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of positive things that could happen after this fight. You know what I mean? So I'm just waiting to see what happens. You know, I definitely got to take care of this fight. You know, I'm never the type of fighter to overlook anybody. You know, I know I have a tough assignment in front of me, but we're gonna take care of business as usual.
Man, David, thank you so much. I kept you long enough. You know you're making weight pretty good if you're able to talk this much like you have today, right?
Yeah, man, I fucking did. Since yesterday, I've done about a total of like 20 interviews, and that's no lie. I mean, this is part of the job now, you know what I mean? I can't get mad or I can't be like, oh, we got to do 5 minutes. You know, there's some fighters like that, but it's not me. I enjoy talking to everybody, especially you. I feel like we have a friendship, you know what I mean? Every time, you know, you always give me good interviews, and I'm always able to get my voice out, you know, and talk about the things I want to talk to. So I also want to give you the thanks for all this too.
I'm honored to be your friend, man. It's a privilege. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, and then maybe when our when our boys get older, a little bit later, we could give them a good little sparring session later.
Oh man, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to teach my son to move his damn head for that. Okay. But yeah.
Hey, well, you have some years on my boy. My boy, you know, he can't start learning until like 3 years. So.
No, you know what? We'd be in good hands. We know we can work. It'll just be work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. David, thank you so much, brother. Congrats on the son coming in 3 weeks. I'm sure you're going to put on a hell of a performance for him. Thanks, brother.
All right. Thank you, brother. Have a nice day, man. Take care.